Sup guys? So exciting times ahead. The 840,000th block has been mined on the Bitcoin blockchain, which means the halving has occurred. Very exciting. And from this halving, the transaction fees have soared immensely. So they have gone up dramatically in anticipation of the halving, which is a very, very good and encouraging thing. And a main reason for this increase in transaction fees is the Runes protocol on the Bitcoin blockchain. It's a new fungible token standard that you can use to create new tokens on the Bitcoin blockchain outside of BRC20. That should be an easier way for creators to launch new tokens on the blockchain, which is going to help the growth of Bitcoin as a whole. And the creators of Runes really timed this perfectly with releasing the protocol, releasing the token standard on the day of the halving. That's why they've been able to take advantage of a lot of the transaction fees that have soared into Bitcoin in the halving, and they've been a predominant force into this height of transaction fees. So the protocols is launched, and again, it should make it easier right now, or it is easier right now, to launch tokens on the Bitcoin blockchain and get them out there for the public. So that's very encouraging, and I think right now the next step is, obviously there are L2s for Bitcoin, but the next steps for making Bitcoin even bigger, especially the ecosystem, the blockchain, and the fungible tokens, the non-fungible tokens, and all that, is creating new L2s. There are already L2s on the Bitcoin blockchain, but making it more user-friendly and more normie-friendly. And I think that's where the direction of the Bitcoin ecosystem is going, because as of right now, Unisat is like the main place to buy fungible tokens and buy non-fungible tokens, right? This is like the main place to do it. You connect your Unisat wallet and you're able to buy on-chain like this. But for a normie, like, this is not very easy to understand. Like, this can be very complex. Buying tokens and buying NFTs on-chain is very complex for a lot of normies. Like, they don't understand any of this. And even someone who's been in crypto for a while, it can even be difficult for someone who's not a rookie, so to say, but maybe they've been in the space for a couple of months. And even for them, it can be a little bit difficult to kind of navigate and understand the marketplace and buying on-chain, getting the wallet and all these things. Like, these things are not super simple for normies. So what has to be done right now? I'm very happy that Runes has been launched, because now it's gonna do more for the ecosystem, and we're gonna see a lot more Bitcoin tokens on the Bitcoin blockchain, which is very encouraging for Bitcoin as a whole, for the ecosystem, and for the asset as a whole. It's not only has it become more valuable right now with the halving, but it's also become more valuable right now with how the ecosystem is thriving and how new things are being developed on the Bitcoin blockchain. But right now, it needs to become easier for the normies to be able to buy on-chain in a very easy and simple fashion. And I think right now, from what I understand, transaction fees directly on the mainnet is very expensive. So L2s are obviously going to be a alleviating factor to scale the protocol even further and make the transaction fees cheaper. For example, as Arbitrum and Base has done on the Ethereum blockchain, those L2s obviously have much lower fees. And I think that's what the next steps for Bitcoin is. There are already L2s from what I'm like, this one here, Stacks, I've never used it, but there are L2s out there, and L2s on Bitcoin are just going to become bigger and bigger, in my opinion, because the Bitcoin ecosystem needs to be scaled. We need faster blockchains on top of the like built on Bitcoin that are cheaper as well, that have a easier to use interface and user experience. So I think that's going to be the next steps for Bitcoin as a whole to make the ecosystem thrive even more. Because as the normies come into play, they won't understand any of this. They'll be like, wait, what's the difference between ordinals, atomicals, and runes? What is BRC20? None of this is familiar language to them. So, like, what they're gonna have to, the way they're gonna have to interact and engage with the blockchain and the ecosystem is through a more pleasant ecosystem, a user experience and user interface that makes it easier for them to buy on chain, but also that makes it cheaper and faster. So that's going to be the next step, and that's also the reason why I believe, Base on the Ethereum blockchain is going to do incredibly well and pretty much dominate this entire bull run. In my opinion, I think they're going to surpass even Solana. They've already done incredibly well because Coinbase does something that most other actors on the crypto space are not doing. They're making it very easy for normies to be able to engage with crypto and buy tokens and get involved in crypto, because crypto can be very complex for the average person. And soon they'll be launching their smart wallet. They've launched the beta version, and they'll be launching the official smart wallet, making it way easier to buy tokens on the Base chain, where you can do so on chain directly from the wallet. So they understand where to go and what direction to go during this upcoming bull run, or this bull run we find ourselves in right now. They want to make it as easy as possible for people buying on chain. And that's what they understand, and that's what they're doing. And that's what most of the other, or pretty much all of the other ecosystems and blockchains need to follow. They need to follow that strategy, because it works. It works. It makes things very simple for people who don't understand crypto, and that will increase volume flowing into those chains, and have basically Base dominate and do incredibly well. So I think these are the next steps for Bitcoin. I haven't done much research into the L2s and how they work and how they operate, but obviously I think Bitcoin L2s are going to become incredibly big right now with the Runes launch that have made it easier to mint new tokens on the blockchain and the ecosystem. And as I said, right now the next steps following what makes most sense is new Bitcoin L2s to develop on the blockchain, making it easier to interact with the ecosystem and the blockchain. I think these are the next steps we're waiting, and I think exciting times are ahead. And now with the halving and runes that has just been launched, I think Bitcoin is undeniable at this point. It's been undeniable for many years, but people are just starting to realize it as well. If you want to add on top the ETFs as well, so we have ETFs, we have the halving that makes Bitcoin even scarcer. Plus we have runes, the runes protocol, that is growing the Bitcoin ecosystem. So this is incredible. I have such huge hopes for Bitcoin in this bull run. I think Bitcoin is going to do amazingly well. A prediction I would say is minimum 100K, but it's very difficult to predict the price. You shouldn't listen to anyone online that tells you it's going to go to 150, 200K. Like, that's just it's just false claims at the end of the day. You don't know how far and how high Bitcoin is going to go. There's no way of knowing that. But with all the things that have happened to Bitcoin this year, I see incredible things happening, and I'm very excited for the alt season to kick in and everything to just go parabolic. Right now, what you can expect is, let's go to the daily chart on Bitcoin. What you can expect is a bit more chop for, I would say, at least a few weeks to come before we go higher and before we go into the alt season and where everything goes parabolic and we go deeper into the bull run. Expect more chop and more consolidation. And if you look at this little chart here, you can see that we're currently in this stage right now, and this is like the post-halving, the pre and post-halving short term. And during this period, a lot of traders and investors will be shaken out, the weak hands, the people, the investors that are not meant to be in the markets, and this happens every single during every single halving, around every single halving. It happened here as well before we went into the alt season, and shit went parabolic, and you know, you had the same thing happen here. So obviously Bitcoin didn't do 10,000%, nor did it do 35,000%. This is just an example, but this is a very standard thing to happen around the halving, short-term pre-halving and short-term post-halving, shaking out a bunch of traders and investors to kind of get the weak hands out of the markets before we go higher. And I think this is well needed as well, because it's only been up ever since October last year. We've only gone up. It's been absolutely crazy. If you look at the weekly chart, it's been insane ever since, let's see. Yeah, ever since October, it's basically been only up. We had some consolidation here for like, yeah, what was it like? Over 2 months of consolidation. And now we have a lot of chop as well. Over like 1.5 months of chop and consolidation, which is good. We need a cool down before we go higher. This is normal. This you know, takes out a lot of the traders in the markets right now, and you know, it does that before we go higher, which is a good thing, because it can't just go up forever, because then the bull run will end way sooner than anticipated, and it will leave a bunch of people broke. It's already going to leave a bunch of people broke at the end of it, because people get greedy, they don't know when to sell, and it's just going to screw them up in the long run. But you know, if we only go up all the time with no corrections, with no pullbacks, no consolidation, no accumulations, it doesn't make any sense. You know, people will get too greedy, too much volume will flow into the markets, and it will crash much harder. So this is well needed, and yeah, exciting times ahead, guys. Load up your bags right now, in my opinion. Load up your alts, because this is the cheapest they're going to be for the entire year, in my opinion. It's only up from here. We're going to have a few weeks to a few months, a couple of months at most, of consolidation and cheap prices before we go higher. But as soon as BTC starts to rally, a lot of Bitcoin's volume eventually will flow into the alts, and the alts will start outperforming Bitcoin. And once that happens, we're in the alt season, and shit's going to get parabolic, and it may get too expensive to enter at that point. But in my opinion, it's not going to be too expensive for a long time at least, because it's going to be quite easy to make money during this bull run, but it's not going to be so easy to keep that money, because a lot of people are going to get greedy. They're not going to sell when they need to sell, and they're just going to want to hold forever because the greed will get to them. But if we look at, let's see, ETH to BTC, if we compare the two, obviously Bitcoin is still dominating. Ethereum is not outperforming Bitcoin yet, and it will not do so for a little while longer. But as soon as, you know, this tide turns and we start to go higher, you know, it's been, as you can see, Bitcoin has been dominating Ethereum for a very, very long time. Ever since the end of 2021, where the bear market occurred, Bitcoin has been dominating Ethereum, and it's going to keep doing so for a little while longer. And as this starts to turn and we see Ethereum dominate Bitcoin and do better than Bitcoin and outperform Bitcoin, that's when shit's about to get real, and you need to be prepared for that. So load up your bags right now. It's not going to be this cheap for much longer. Don't get any FUD. Don't get afraid during this stage of the markets. You need to load up. You need to absolutely stack up the bags, because the more you buy right now at a cheaper price, the less you actually have to work later in the bull run. You can just hold your assets. Do your research right now. Buy good projects and good tokens right now. Obviously, do your research. you can't go wrong with you know, something like Solana, Ethereum, and obviously Bitcoin. So load up your bags right now while it's still cheap, I would say, especially altcoins. Bitcoin isn't as cheap anymore, but it's gonna go up in price, but we don't know for how much longer it's gonna go up in price. But altcoins are very cheap right now, so go hard on altcoins, load up your bags while it's still cheap. And I think Solana has obviously a ton of potential during this bull run. It's going to do amazingly well during this bull run. It may, you know, outperform Ethereum dramatically. It may even overtake Ethereum in market capitalization. Not a lot of people believe it will do that, but it has the potential to do so because it's faster, it's cheaper, it's had some network congestion, but other than that, it is overall a better blockchain in a lot of people's opinion. But if you look at Solana, it's at 140 USD. So right now, you have an opportunity to load up your bags in Solana and obviously do your research on other altcoins as well. Again, this is the cheapest you're going to get them. Load up your bags and just wait. You don't have to be a degen trader during a bull run. You just have to buy the right tokens at the right time, and now is the right time to buy. And then you have to buy the right tokens at the right time, which is right now. Load up your bags while it's still cheap. Load up your altcoin bags, and just hold throughout the bull run, and know when to sell. And look at the market sentiment when everyone talks about crypto, when the influencers come into the space, when everyone starts shilling projects from left to right. That's when you exit and take your profits. The sooner you get in, the easier it's going to be for you to make money. So load up your bags right now. Don't wait till it gets higher. Bitcoin is still outperforming the altcoins and Ethereum, and as long as it does that, you have time to buy. But right now, when we have had a halving, the time is running out. So get to work, guys. Load up those bags and don't miss out. But yeah, that's it from me, guys, today. Hope you got some valuable insights from this. I'm excited for the times ahead. But yeah, as always, thank you for watching this long ass video, and I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.